Things everybody did as kids. Up first, whether it was elementary school, middle school, or high school. If you saw this hallway, you knew what you had to do. And up next, was it just me or did this strange neighborhood spot seem to just draw you in every time? Yo, what's up, Calvin? Hey, what's up, Billy? I can hang till like 5. Where do you want to chill? I know just the place. Oh, nice. This is great. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. This guy is still running his business. What he does is he goes to the dollar store, buys a bunch of candy and snacks for super cheap. He then has a Google Doc where he uploads all of his inventory on there with the prices. He actually sent me a few screenshots. Here's his business rules. You can pause to read the rest. Business was booming for this guy. This picture's kind of blurry, but that's his menu. And here is the page where people place their orders. He's running an entire online candy shop. Kids place an order, they either pay online or bring exact cash to school, and they make the trade in the bathroom or a hallway somewhere. And so far, he's made around $300. Nice. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. At this kid's school, there was a really mean bully that told everybody in his class that he would spread terrible rumors about them. And the only way he wouldn't do that is if they would pay him. So if kids didn't want this guy to spread awful rumors about them, they would have to pay him $5. And in return, the bully wouldn't target them. It's a pretty crazy business. And it lasted a few months, and the bully made about $200 before the school found out, and he got in trouble. Senior prank stories. A follower submission. One of my followers sent this in about a senior prank his cousin pulled. So him and a few friends did this prank 3 months before graduation. Why so long before, you ask? You'll find out later. So what happened was, one person would be inside the school, and the rest of them would be outside the school doors. The person inside the school pulled the fire alarm. And as the entire student body ran out the front doors of the school, they were immediately sprayed and covered with silly string. Now, they didn't want to be banned from graduation, which is why they did this prank 3 months before it. Cops were called, they were arrested and suspended for 3 days. And 3 months later, they were still allowed to graduate. Send this video to somebody that loves art. Hi. I'm gonna show you a picture. It's a sculpture. A statue, if you will. And the statue is a mother holding her baby. Although the baby is different. And I want to know, does this make you uncomfortable? Craziest things found in fast food. In 2004, a woman was shopping at a Costco in California. She was getting hungry, so she went to the food court and ordered a hot dog. She put the condiments on, sat down, and was ready to dive in. Well, she took one bite, and then she felt something hard between her teeth. When she spit it out, she noticed it was a live 9mm bullet that was inside the hot dog. She freaked out, let Costco know, and then she went home. Later that night, she started having severe stomach pain. She was taken to the hospital, and the doctors discovered that she had swallowed another 9mm bullet. That's absolutely insane. How were there 2 bullets in that hot dog? Oh, heck no. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. When this kid was in middle school, he went to a very expensive private school. And there was a program on all the school computers that allowed the teachers to see everything the students were doing on them. And they had the ability to close tabs and block computer games. Well, this kid was pretty good with computers, so he found a way to set up a VPN and get that program removed, which allowed him to be on the computer without the teachers seeing what he was doing. People found out about his system and they started asking him how he was doing it. And that's when he started his business. He started doing this for other kids for $50. It's kind of expensive, but like I said, it was a very rich private school. And you guessed it, business was booming. He was making hundreds and hundreds of dollars. He did this for 5 months. But one kid wanted him to do it for free. He said no, and then the kid snitched to the principal. And our dude got a 2-week suspension. Craziest things found in fast food. In 2008, a man from New York went to Subway and ordered himself a footlong. As he was biting into the sandwich, he felt something thin, hard, and sharp between his teeth. When he got a closer look, he saw a fairly large serrated knife that had been baked into the bread. He was absolutely pissed. He could have really messed up his mouth. He let the store know and hired a lawyer. And she accepted a settlement of $20,000. Dumbest school projects of all time. This one person's elementary school science project was, what temperature do ladybugs ladybugs prefer. And the teacher required the students to take 4 mason jars, all of them full of ladybugs, and place them in different locations: the kitchen counter, the front porch, the refrigerator, and the freezer. And they were supposed to be observed every day for 2 weeks. Well, obviously, every single ladybug died. Some lived longer than others, but one thing was certain: ladybugs prefer not to be put in a freezer. Dumbest school projects ever. This one person's teacher was very opinionated. She was the science teacher, and she 100% believed that seatbelts didn't do anything. Obviously they do, and they're very important, but there was no changing her mind. So one day she gave an assignment to her class. The students had to write a 5-page essay on why seatbelts don't work. She told the students not to voice their own opinions, but to only talk about why seatbelts don't work. That's absolutely insane. Black markets kids ran in their schools a follower submission. This guy is currently running this business, so he knows a bunch of managers and workers at Dave & Buster's. And a lot of days, he gets to play the games there for free and has earned tons of tickets. Well, he uses those tickets to get Dave & Buster prize candy. He gets about 7 boxes every week. Here's a picture of his product stock. It looks like he's got all of the good stuff. Well, he takes the stuff he gets from Dave & Buster's, which, mind you, he got that all for free, and he sells them at school. Business is absolutely booming, and he's made about $700 in 2 weeks. All of that is pure profit. Not bad. Crazy things that happened at school. A follower submission. One day in drama class, the teacher went home sick, so they put on a movie to keep the students entertained until the period was over. Well, suddenly, an alarm went off, and the kids weren't sure if it was the fire alarm or the lockdown alarm. They went out into the hallway and they didn't see anybody, so they head back into the classroom and get under their desks, like they would do in a lockdown procedure. Cut to an hour or so later, when a teacher bursts into the classroom. She was incredibly relieved. Apparently, the school was basically on fire, and a bunch of the staff had been looking for them for ages. Well, like I said, luckily they were found and brought outside to safety. And after this was all over, the drama teacher was fired for not informing anyone she was going home. Crazy things kids did in school. A follower submission. At this kid's school, during lunch, students had the option of fruit or carrots. Well, about a month ago, him and his friend decided to walk around the lunchroom during lunch and collect bags of carrots. Well, they started doing this every day, and people started helping them. Some days they would walk out of the lunchroom with 40 bags of carrots. They would then take these carrots and stuff them into a locker that nobody used. Well, a week later, when they were checking on the carrot locker, a teacher was behind them and saw what they were doing. The teacher made the students throw away all the carrots, and in total, there was about 150 bags of carrots in this locker. Here's a clip of the infamous carrot bust.
83, 84, 85, 86. Oh my God.
That's a lot of carrots. Crappy things happening in schools. A follower submission. This kid's school has 3 floors, and recently the school installed shutters on all of the 2nd and 3rd floor bathrooms, which blocks the bathrooms off so kids can't use them during class. So the only way people can use the bathroom is by going to the 1st floor. But that's not fair to students that might have medical conditions, that they make that entire journey through a huge school to the 1st floor. Also, students are feeling humiliated about this. This is a picture of what the shutters look like. It's from a news article. In my opinion, this is completely bogus, and these students have actually made a petition to get these shutters removed. If you want to support this school, go sign the petition. It's right here. It just ain't right. Craziest things found in food. In 2010, a woman and her husband were driving to Dallas, Texas to pick up a brand new tractor. Well, on the way there, they stopped at a gas station. This lady went inside and bought a Milky Way bar and a Coke, her favorite snack combination. When she got back in the car, she had a bite of the Milky Way, and it was delicious. Then she had her second bite. As she bit down, she noticed something hard between her teeth. She thought it was a peanut. She spit it out into her hand, and well, it was not a peanut. It was a human tooth. She was absolutely disgusted. Here's a picture of the tooth. She called Milky Way and explained what happened. They said, "We're so sorry. Can you please send us the tooth and we can examine it?" She said, no. She was afraid that if she sent Milky Way the tooth back, they would throw it away and destroy all the evidence. Instead, she held on to it. However, to this day, no one knows where the tooth came from. Worst homework assignments of all time. This is a spelling worksheet that a kindergarten teacher gave to her class one day. But if you look closely, some of the words the teacher wanted these kids to know how to spell are gun and rob. That's a picture of a little robber. These guys are kindergartners. This next homework worksheet was given to kids to fill in the correct word of the sentence. This one particular sentence on the worksheet says, "The man blank his dog," and the student has to pick between fit and hit. What? Luckily, the kid put in pet and then wrote, "You should not hit dogs." Why would they even make hit an option? That's not right. Another assignment that was given to kindergartners was this one. You had to circle the picture that matched the word. The word was fat, and that's the picture. That is not nice. And once again, these are kindergartners. What is wrong with people? Crazy things kids did at school. A follower submission. Last December, this kid and his friends would steal a bunch of tiny milk cartons from the cafeteria every day. They would then take them and stockpile them behind the baseball field. After the milk was expired, they would grab them and throw them into large crowds. They called them expired milk frag grenades, and apparently it became a big problem at the school. They've launched a full investigation to determine who was doing this, and to this day, these kids have never been caught. Black markets kids ran in their schools. This one's kind of weird. During this time, they had just gotten done learning about cavemen, and a bunch of them thought it would be a great idea to start their own prehistoric clan. They would smash rocks and use them to sharpen tree branches. Some of them were so good at it, they would use the walls as grindstones. And they were able to sharpen 6 sticks in half an hour. So their business was every day at recess, they would sharpen a bunch of sticks and give them to other kids in exchange for wild berries. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. This kid's friend used to sell candy and snacks at school. A basic business, but one that's been proven to work. And it was going pretty well. He was making decent money, and business was booming. But the messed up part about this story is that one day, for no reason, a kid snitched on him. And when he got to the principal's office, there was a police officer waiting for him. The officer took all of his candy and all of the money he had made. He was then suspended for a week, and they said if they ever catch him again, he will be expelled. Is that even legal? That's not right. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. This kid doesn't get much allowance from his parents at all, just a couple dollars here and there. Well, he had a brilliant idea. He used what little money he had and bought a bunch of cheap chocolate bars. He then took these to school every single day, and for the first month, he gave these chocolate bars away for free. He heard that kids can get addicted to chocolate, and it was working. Kids kept coming back to him every single day because they knew he would have chocolate bars. But after that first month, he started selling each chocolate bar for $5. People were upset at first. They're like, hey, these were free. And he said, well, now they're not free. Do you want one or not? And they still did. He was selling out every single day. And after the second month, he made over $500. That's pretty smart. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. This kid's in 6th grade, and the inside of his school is always super hot. Everyone's always complaining about the heat. So he had a brilliant idea. He went to the dollar store and bought a bunch of those tiny battery-powered fans, and he would take those to school every single day. He also had a mini cooler with ice packs in them. He rented the fans and the ice packs out to students for $5 a day, and business was booming. Everyone was coming to him because, like I said, the school was freaking hot. To this day, he hasn't been caught or shut down, and so far he's made about $200. That's pretty solid. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. This kid found a ton of Pokemon cards in their dad's attic, like hundreds and hundreds of them. And she had an idea. She started making homemade booster packs. She would divide 10 cards out, put them into pack, bring it to school, and sell them for $7 a booster pack. On her first day, she had 4 customers, so she made $28. But then, a super rich kid came up to her and told her he would give her $120 for 100 cards. And she said yes. She was getting pretty excited about this business, and interest was growing, but the principal found out about it immediately, and her business was shut down. Black markets kids ran in their schools. Follower submissions. This kid buys a bunch of Jolly Ranchers in bulk. He buys regular flavors and the tropical flavors. When he gets home, he puts them into separate Ziploc bags and throws them in his backpack. And then every day before school, he puts all of the flavors he has in stock on his Snapchat story, and people tell him what they want. He sells 10 Jolly Ranchers for $1. And he sells them during the passing periods. The first day he started this business, he made $40. And after 5 days, he has made $270. Pictures that don't have an explanation. Here's a tire around a tree. But the biggest question is, how did that tire get there? You can't simply just pull it up. Weird. This picture was taken of a family at dinner. And at the time, these 4 were the only people in the picture. But after the photo was developed, they noticed this. Here's a nice picture of 4 friends just hanging out, but there seems to be an extra hand. Look closely. Right there. Whose hand is that? And this one. Here is a woman standing where the plane hit on 9/11. She was on one of the top floors, and apparently, she survived. but no one knows how. Times things were just completely messed up. One person got a tornado warning alert on their phone, and then 2 minutes after that, an alert of shots fired nearby. But then a minute after that, it seemed like Pokemon Go was trying to start some trouble. Look, this catering advertisement is super strange. They cater any event: wedding, graduation, horse funeral, drug intervention, Tuesdays, horse funeral, a quiet night alone, return of gym, anniversary of horse funeral. I wonder if they cater horse funerals. And this dog drawing contest on Facebook. This was first place and this was second place. I do like the first one better though. These pictures will make you very uncomfortable. We got a hot dog, ketchup no, mustard no, toothpaste? Yeah. What? This guy made his own kind of cereal. Doritos, Mountain Dew, and he ate it. That's a little gross. I don't know what kind of Simpsons situation we have going on here, but why? This is what a dirty keyboard looks like. You dirty, dirty keyboard. People are selling their imaginary friends on eBay. You heard that right. People are and have been selling their imaginary friends on eBay. Now, most of them are probably doing this as a joke, like this girl here, who's selling her imaginary friend that's in very good condition. But check this out. In 2007, an eBay user named The Wild and Crazy Ollie listed his imaginary friend on eBay. He included this picture. He said this picture was of his imaginary friend and his imaginary friend's friend. Well, people started bidding, and this dude's imaginary friend sold for $2,750. Weirdest mannequins of all time. I feel like they were trying to be artsy with this mannequin, but instead they created nightmare fuel. No. This mannequin was found in a store in Germany. Little dude has swagger, I'm not gonna lie. And this guy, why does he look like that? He should close his mouth, I think. Times fast food restaurants completely messed up. This one guy was traveling by himself and he was in an airport. He got a little hungry, so he walked to a fast food joint that was located by his gate. Now this guy absolutely hates ketchup. Apparently there was an incident in his past, and now whenever he has ketchup, he basically throws it all up. So he orders a burger. He says, "I do not want any ketchup at all on it." He gets the burger, unwraps it, and dives in. His first thought is there is definitely ketchup on this burger, but it also tastes incredibly strange. He lifted up the bun and he noticed that all this burger was 7 slices of cheese and a mountain of ketchup. He's like, what the heck? But the weird part is, when he went up to the restaurant and showed them this creation, everyone was genuinely super confused. They had no idea how that happened, and no one remembers making the burger. He says this incident still haunts him to this day. Now, if you want to hear a really crazy story about McDonald's, go watch the video on my YouTube. It's nuts. Most dangerous toys of all time. This is a toothpick crossbow. It's very popular in other countries, but it's incredibly dangerous. This thing has enough power to pierce through clothes and skin. Tons of schools in China had to ban these because kids were getting into crossbow fights in class. And these things can literally pierce someone's eyeball. Black markets kids ran in their schools, a follower submission. When he was a sophomore in high school, he had the idea to start selling Powerade bottles out of his football locker. His teammates would always buy one after practice and he was doing pretty well. But then he wanted to expand his business. So he started buying bags of chips and making homemade burritos at home. He then brought them to school and sold Powerade bottles for $2 each, chips for $1 each, and burritos for $3 each. Or you could buy them all together, the chips, the burrito, and the Powerade for just $5. This went on for 2 years. Nobody snitched and business was booming. He made about $5,000 and then COVID hit and everything shut down. She's ready. How's the baby? You got yourself a healthy baby and wife. Now get in there. Thank you so much. Hi, baby. God, she looks just like you. You're going to be so happy. Baby? I'm gonna need you to leave. Is she gonna be okay? Is my wife gonna be okay? He's coding, push 1 of Epi. Please. Things my old carnival job taught me about carnivals part 7. You definitely know this one. Everyone does. The ladder climb game. It's so hard to climb to the top. Whenever most people try it, they get about halfway and they flip over and fall down. Well, there's actually a trick to it. If the worker's a cool person, they'll let you do it this way. What most people do is they use the ladder steps to climb up. But that way doesn't work. Instead of using the bars, here's what you do. With your hands, climb up grabbing the ropes. And keep your back feet wide. This keeps your gravity centered, and it should allow you to get to the top with no problems. Asking restaurant workers to write a confession on my delivery order, part 1. Alright, so for this first order, we're doing Little Caesars. I placed the order on Uber Eats, so I'm hoping they do it. Can you please have someone write an anonymous confession/secret under the lid? It's for a video. It'll be here pretty soon. Let's see if they actually do it. Alright, so it's on the way. It'll be so lame if they didn't do this. Alright, here we go. Alright, we're going to the kitchen. And the confession is, please, I am quitting this job next week. Yes! Black markets kids ran in their schools, part 14. This one happened at a high school. Let's call this kid Bill. Everybody knows these calculators are very expensive. Well, Bill would steal these calculators from students and then sell them to other students. It became a huge problem at the school. Everybody's calculators were getting stolen. Little did they know Bill was behind it all. Principal made an announcement. Everybody had to get their name engraved on their calculator. Well, Bill got sloppy. One day he was selling one of these to another student and accidentally sold this student back the calculator he stole from him. When the student saw his name engraved on the calculator, he punched Bill right in the face. They got into a huge fight and then Bill was expelled. Here's a fun fact though. Years later, Bill tried to rob a taxi driver with a squirt gun. But the taxi driver pulled a real gun on him, and Bill went to jail. Black markets kids ran in their schools, part 35. A follower submission. When he was in 4th grade, him and his friends sold energy drinks and snacks on their school break out of a cardboard shop that looks like this. One day, one of the popular kids walked by, and he liked what he saw, bought some snacks, and then he told his friends. Well, one day during their break, about 200 kids showed up in front of this cardboard store, and everybody wanted to buy something. It turned out to be a fire hazard. And then, funny enough, some kids lit firecrackers and threw them to scare people away so they can buy the food. Teachers then intervened and shut it down. This is what he said happened next. Our teacher took the sweets and ate it with all her coworkers. She got diabetes after that. Apparently this business made them over $7,000. Do you ever feel like you're being watched or someone is staring at you? Like you're in class or you're with a bunch of people and you just feel like someone's eyes are on you? Do this. Yawn. Yawning is contagious. So when you get this feeling, yawn as big as you can. And then if you notice someone yawn right after you did, chances are they've been staring at you for a while. Hey Amazon, I just wanted to let you know something. This right here is 100% not a Stouffer's vegetable lasagna. Okay? Black markets kids ran in their schools. Follower submission. So last year in 7th grade, this kid started a candy business, and things were going pretty well. He ran the business for about 4 or 5 months. But then this other group of kids, 4 or 5 of them, wanted to start selling candy too. So they did. Not too long after the other group started selling, the principal found out about this business. So our dude cleaned out his locker, took all of the candy and the money home, and pretended like nothing happened. And the other group of kids that started selling after him got caught and shut down. The principal was happy about this. He thought he had settled this whole candy business situation. And that's when our dude started his business back up again. So far, he's made about $300. People who were legends in their high school. At this one person's high school, there was this girl named Kelly who was quiet, had good manners, and never got into trouble at all. In fact, nobody really knew who she was until one day she was escorted off of the campus by police. Apparently, she had stolen credit card information from more than 14 students and went on a shopping spree. She disappeared for a year, but was somehow allowed back to the school for her senior year. Instead of being hated on and disliked, people loved her. Free Kelly posters with her mugshot on them were all over the walls of the school. Her name was even used in school chants at football games, and she was invited to all the parties. That is completely epic. Black markets kids ran in their schools. One day, some kids realized that if you lightly stepped on a bee in the grass, it would temporarily stun the bee without killing it. So a couple of them got a crazy idea. Every day during recess, they would go out into the grass and scout for bees. Then they would stun them and scoop a bunch of bees into plastic Ziploc bags. They would then sell these bags of bees to other students so they can take them to class and release them, which would scare people and waste time. They sold these bee bags for 25 cents each. Teachers and school administration noticed this and started cracking down on it. Every day, they were confiscating plastic bags with live bees in them from tons of students. Eventually, they had somebody outside every day at recess to stop anyone from catching these bees and selling them. Black markets kids ran in their schools. Follower submission. This kid went to a really small school and there were only 2 bathrooms. Well, the men's bathroom on the 2nd floor only had 1 toilet that worked. All of the other ones were out of order. So this kid and his friend got a crazy idea. In between classes, every single day, they would go into the bathroom and guard the 1 working toilet. Whenever someone went to go to the bathroom, these guys would be in there. And they would say, you can only use this bathroom if you pay us $4. And well, everyone did it because these were some pretty big guys. They weren't to be messed with. They made around $50. But this all stopped when the school eventually fixed all the other toilets and they realized they simply can't stop people from using the bathroom. The Charmin Bear Society is all about wiping, and here's why. Based on this theory, in the Charmin Bear universe, there was an outbreak of cholera in the past, and half the bear population died from extreme diarrhea. So being clean and learning how to wipe properly was something to be celebrated. And the reason some bears wear pants and some don't? It's all about status. If you know how to wipe and you are so clean, then you have earned the right to walk around naked. But if you aren't clean enough, you must wear pants. That's why the family of red bears never wears pants and lives in an amazing house. Because they are so clean, successful, and highly respected. Their heinies are clean. The most interesting book club of all time. The Fallen Angels Book Club is what it's called. And there's only 2 requirements to join this book club. You must love books and have a white-collar criminal record. Now, the book club mainly reads and discusses murder mysteries. But what would happen if the day after one of your book club gatherings, one of the members died the exact same way as the character in the book? It's interesting because was it a true crime addict that was copying the book? Was it one of the book club members? They are all criminals after all. But all I know is that this concept is incredibly interesting, and that's why you should tune into Lifetime, The Fallen Angels Murder Club, Saturday, April 2nd at 8/7 Central. Ever since I saw this movie, I have not been able to stop thinking about it. You won't regret it. Black markets kids ran in their schools. Follower submission. This one kid's dad always had a shopping list on the fridge, and whenever he wanted something, he could add it to the shopping list, as long as it wasn't candy. Well, he wanted to start selling candy at school, so what he did was he would put ingredients to make candy on the shopping list. And then when his dad would come back from shopping, he would take the ingredients and make this type of homemade candy. He would then divvy the candy up and put it into plastic bags, bring it to school, and sell it to students. Right away, kids loved this stuff. They said it was addicting. And when he realized kids loved this stuff so much, he was raising the prices. And people still paid. The entire time he was selling, business was booming. I don't know if he was shut down or if he's still running this, but he made some really good money. A weird Burger King commercial from Japan. I'm gonna show you a clip of a BK commercial that was made in Japan. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little weird, but I'm gonna ask you. If you saw this commercial, would this make you want to eat Burger King? People who got incredibly lucky. This guy and his girlfriend bought a board game from a thrift store, but when they opened the board game, they found a bunch of this old jewelry. They got it appraised, and apparently this jewelry was worth thousands of dollars. That's insane. This guy accidentally shot his TV with an arrow, but the arrow went right into the HDMI spot, and the TV still worked. But my question is, why was he shooting an arrow in the house? Sus. This person bought an ice cream cone from a gas station, and when they opened it up, there was 2 in there. That would be the best day ever. Before I get to the craziest one, this app lets you go live even if you have 0 followers. Go right here to get it. Back in the day, this guy's grandpa was shot, but luckily he had these 6 coins in his front pocket, which absolutely saved his life. Black markets kids ran in their schools. When this guy was in high school, there were a bunch of emo kids. Like, a lot of them. And they would always wear Converse. But they never had socks on, because they said socks ruins the look of Converse. Okay, that's fine. The gym teachers hated this. They said if you're going to participate in gym class, you have to be wearing socks. And if you came to class without socks on, you would get an automatic F for the day. So this guy had a brilliant idea. He bought a bunch of white socks off of Amazon. And every day before gym class, he would stand right next to the locker rooms and sell them to kids that didn't have socks on. As goofy as this sounds, business was booming. These emo kids can come to school looking fresh in their Converse or Vans, but still be able to participate in gym class. All thanks to this guy's sock business. Worst playground designs of all time, part 2. The picture you're about to see is a structure at some playground somewhere, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. I have no idea what this is, and I actually had to censor this picture. The whole thing is just very, sus. See for yourself. Black markets kids ran in their schools. Another follower submission. Again, this one isn't really a black market, but listen up. He told me in 9th grade, him and 2 of his friends started to throw parties. They would find someone's house to do it at first, and then they would begin planning. At the start of this, they would charge $10 for a wristband. And if you showed up to the party with the wristband, you would get in. Well, the bracelets they would give out when someone bought them had a symbol you can only see if you held a black light over it. And every party, there was a different symbol. They did this so kids didn't go out and buy their own bracelets so they could get in for free. The party started going crazy. They then upped their prices and started charging $20 for a bracelet, and then $40. And then they hired their friends to DJ the parties. They were making bank. And if the parties ever got too crazy, they would call the cops on their own party. And because it wasn't their own house, they would just leave. Some shady stuff, but he told me they made so much money. Worst toy designs of all time, part 7. We all know who this is. This is Wonder Woman. And what I'm about to show you is not really a toy. It's a pair of scissors, Wonder Woman scissors. And honestly, it's completely unnecessary. It's a little sus. Here it is. Good morning, mannequins. You should be dressed by now. Line up. Looks good. That's a bustin' scarf, George. Power stance and cardigan? Mary, you're gonna have a killer day, aren't you? Hi, Josh. Do you not know how to put a shirt on? That's too bad. You know what happened to Carol. Take him to the furnace. Take him to the furnace! Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. When this kid was in middle school, he ran a study guide business. And these weren't your run-of-the-mill study guides. These were well-detailed, easy-to-follow documents that covered all the major tests and quizzes for the whole school. He had a group of students working for him, called the contributors. They would help him write and construct these study guides. And he sold these study guides for $10 to $20, depending on the test. He also hired some of the bigger kids in school to be the muscle. The muscle kept the blacklisted kids from playing any playground games like basketball or soccer. Now, kids could be blacklisted for a number of reasons, like borrowing a study guide and never paying back what's due, or for lending the study guide to any non-paying individual. This guy was actually nice enough to send me screenshots of the documents he actually used when he ran this business. This is his terms and conditions that came with every single study guide. Feel free to pause to read. And this, I guess, was the blacklist Excel sheet. It had the names of blacklisted students and the reason that they're blacklisted. This dude even had an employment contract for every single one of his employees. This is the stuff in the contract. This guy was efficient. He made about $100 a week. $600 a week for the bigger tests, like the World War II test. All I can say is for middle school, this is one hell of a business. This is an awesome life hack. The weather's getting colder and a lot of us have to stay home because we've been exposed to COVID or have it. And I'm sure many of you are very lonely. Well, I have a solution that might make you less lonely. You can't go live if you don't have 1,000 followers on TikTok, but you can on this app called BeGo Live. There are tons of amazing creators on there, and there are always people watching. This is the most important part. Go to the link in my bio, download BeGo Live, and once you're all set up, you can go live right away. Weird things kids did in school. One day during class in middle school, this kid saw a thermos in the back of the classroom. Turns out it was the teacher's, but he did not know this at the time. He then goes to the bathroom with the thermos. He then comes back, the teacher sees him and says, "Oh, you found my thermos, thank you so much. You can just put it on my desk." And he does. He then walks out of the room without saying a word. The teacher opens the thermos and is incredibly confused and disgusted. Apparently, this kid took a side of her thermos. Send this video to somebody that loves raccoons. Hi, I'm gonna show you a picture of a lamp, but it's not an ordinary lamp. It's a raccoon lamp, and I want to ask you, would you want this lamp? This man became a millionaire by accident, and the reason is actually pretty crazy. His name is Kevin Lewis, and he entered a contest at a Cincinnati casino to win a $1 million grand prize. Well, on a Saturday night, he heard his name called, Kevin Lewis. So he went up and completed all the steps necessary to collect his money. Well, the next day the casino was doing its verification process, and they realized they gave the prize to the wrong man. The prize was meant to go to another man, also named Kevin Lewis, and also living in the Cincinnati area. He wasn't at the casino the night they called his name, so the other Kevin Lewis thought it was his. Well, the casino felt really bad, and decided the best idea was to write another check And now Kevin Lewis 1 and Kevin Lewis 2 were very rich.
চিঠিটা আমি লিখছি তোমার জন্য।
কার্ডের কথাগুলো তুমি লিখছো? হ্যাঁ, আমি লিখেছি, কিন্তু কথাগুলো আমার না।
মেয়েটা দেখছিস?
কোন মেয়েটা?
তোদের বাসার দোতলায় আসছে।
মা, মোম দিয়ে যাও না। আরে আসতেছি রে বাবা। আপনার গান শুনে ছাদে আসলাম। আপনি গিটার বাজান বল।
কি দিল এটা? 100 টাকা? আমি তো চাইছিলাম।
তোর মন খারাপ এটা তুই কি আসার আগেই জানতি না আসার পর জানছস?
আমার মনে হয় আমি জানি স্পেশাল মানুষটা কে। আরে রূপা না, আছে অন্য কেউ।
তোমাকে কিন্তু আমার অনেক ভাল লাগে আপু, কিন্তু তোমার ভাইটা না কেমন জানি। তোমরা দুই ভাই বোন, নিজের ভাই বোন, কিন্তু দুজনের না কোনো মিলই নাই। কই, সবাই তো বলে মিল আছে। দাদা বাড়িতে ঈদ না করলে মজা হয় বলেন?
এখানে অনেক মজা হবে।
দাদা বাড়িতে
ভাই আপনি নিয়ে আসেন, আমি আপনার 500 টাকায় দিব, ঠিক আছে? ঠিক আছে তো? হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, তাহলে নিয়ে আসবো না কিন্তু। ঠিক আছে ভাই। তুমি দুনিয়ার কিনা, তাই তো আমার সন্দেহ। মনে হচ্ছে বেস্ত থেকে হুড়পুরি নেমে আসছে।
কার্ডের কথাগুলো তুমি লিখছো? হ্যাঁ, আমি লিখেছি, কিন্তু কথাগুলো আমার না। আচ্ছা শোনো না, আমি তোমার জন্য একটা ঈদ কার্ড বানাইছি, আমি বাসা থেকে নিয়ে আসি। তুই বানাইছিস?
আমি চাইনি তোমার মন খারাপ হোক।
এইটা এখন আমাকে বিশ্বাস করতে হবে। তোমার ভাইয়ের যে একটা বন্ধু আছে না, অয়ন ভাই, উনি অনেক চালাক আছে, অনেক স্মার্ট। এই আপু আপু আপু, শুনো শুনো শুনো, তুমি রাগ করলা?
তুমি যদি একটু পড়ো।
আপনাকে ঈদের শুভেচ্ছা।
ধন্যবাদ।
টপো দাঁড়া।
মেয়েটা দেখছিস?
কোন মেয়েটা?
তোদের বাসার দোতলায় আসছে।
মা, মোম দিয়ে যাও না। আরে আসতেছি রে বাবা। আপনার গান শুনে ছাদে আসলাম। আপনি গিটার বাজান বল।
কি দিল এটা? 100 টাকা? আমি তো চাইছিলাম।
তোর মন খারাপ এটা তুই কি আসার আগেই জানতি না আসার পর জানছস?
সাদা ওড়না, কপালে ছোট্ট একটা টিপ, রোদের আলো। এদিকে আয়, তুই আয়।
আরে
আজ বেলাতে তোমার সুরে সুরে।
এই বিকেলে মাঠে আসবি তো? ফয়সাল আসছিল, ঈদের পরে কক্সবাজার যাওয়ার প্ল্যান করতেছে।
এই তোর ছাদে যেতে হবে কেন?
ও মা, কারেন্ট নাই, ঘরে কি করব? আর কি সুন্দর জ্যোৎস্না রাতে। এখানে ওস্তাদের কাছে ভর্তি হয়েছি, পরশুদিন থেকে শিখতে যাব।
আর আপনার
আপনি এখন বানায় বানায় বলতেছেন আমার জন্য সাপোর্ট করছেন, এটা আমাকে বিশ্বাস করতে হবে। জীবন নেও না, আমি বিশ্বাসই করব না।
কেন আসছিস?
এমনি আসছি। কেন এখানে কি আসা যাবে না? নিষেধ আছে?
তোমার নাকি মন খারাপ?
আপনি আমার সাথে মজা করছেন?
না না,
কার্ডের কথাগুলো তুমি লিখছো?
হ্যাঁ আমি লিখেছি, কিন্তু কথাগুলো আমার না।
আচ্ছা শোনো না, আমি তোমার জন্য একটা ঈদ কার্ড বানাইছি, আমি বাসা থেকে নিয়ে আসি।
তুই বানাইছিস?
আমাকে সালাম করলে আমি দিতে পারি।
দেখা যাবে। Recent and interesting experience in this country. Bangladesh is a land of rivers, so it's not. আপনি গতকাল রাতে আর্জেন্টিনাকে সাপোর্ট করছেন। আপনি না
তোমার জন্য?
জানেন, আমার না উপহার দিতে খুব ভাল লাগে।
আর উপহার পেতে?
সেটা তো আরো ভাল লাগে।
আমি মিথুন রাশি, ও মিথুন রাশি।
তো
ও আর্জেন্টিনা সাপোর্ট করে, আমি আর্জেন্টিনা সাপোর্ট করি।
একজোড়া ঝুমকা।
ঝুমকা? হঠাৎ ঝুমকা কেন?
আমি না এত সুন্দর কার্ড কখনোই দেখি নাই। আচ্ছা এত সুন্দর কার্ড ওয়ান ভাই কই থেকে পাইলো বলেন তো?
কিন্তু আমি যেদিন তোমাকে ঝুমকা পরিয়ে দেব সেদিন তুমি চোখে কাজলও পরবে।